Today I'm bringing you a delicious recipe using a fruit I hadn't yet used on my channel, peach, also known as durazno in many countries. It's an ideal fruit for preparing desserts, tarts, cakes, or little sweet bites that everyone loves. On this occasion, I used canned peaches, which I think is a fantastic option when you don't have fresh fruit at home. I'd love for you to tell me in the comments how you use it and what kind of desserts you like to add it to. And in the meantime, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started with the recipe. I'm going to use a can of 850 grams, 30 ounces, of peaches in syrup, which contains about 8 large halves. I transfer the drained peaches to a food processor and blend them until very smooth. If you prefer, you can also do it with an immersion blender. If you want a smoother texture, you can pass the puree through a fine sieve, but in this case I'm going to use it as is, without straining. Once blended, the puree goes into a medium saucepan. I add 4 egg yolks, which help give the cream body and creaminess. Then I add a 1/4 cup, 50 g, of sugar. This is optional, depending on how sweet your peaches are. I also add a heaping 1/4 cup of cornstarch, which is equivalent to 50 grams, 1.8 ounces, to thicken the mixture. I squeeze the juice of half a lemon, which is great for balancing the sweetness and bringing out the fruit flavor. And finally, I add 400 milliliters, 1 2/3 cups, of milk, which can be either cold or warm, as you prefer. I mix everything well with a whisk, making sure there are no lumps, and I bring the saucepan to the stove. We cook over medium heat, stirring constantly to prevent it from sticking or burning. When it starts to boil and you notice the mixture thickening, let it cook 1 more minute while stirring constantly. Once ready, I transfer the cream to a heat-safe bowl and cover it with plastic wrap in direct contact with the surface. I let it rest at room temperature for about 2 hours, and then I refrigerate it until the next day so it cools completely and sets. Once the cream is nice and cold and firm, it's time to whip the cream. I'm going to use 250 milliliters, 1 cup, of ambient, room temperature, whipping cream, Puratos brand. If you need more cream, simply use more whipped cream in proportion. I whip it for about 2 minutes, until it forms stiff peaks. Separately, I beat the peach cream a little, just briefly, to bring back the smoothness it lost while chilling. Look at this delicious, smooth, and shiny pastry cream. It's perfect for so many preparations. You can use it to fill eclairs, cake layers, or even turn it into a firmer, fluffier cream by mixing it with whipped cream, ideal for decorating cupcakes or filling cakes. To do this, I first add half of the pastry cream to the whipped cream, mix gently to fully incorporate, and then add the other half. I beat again until I get a firm, light, and airy texture, ready to use as a filling or decoration. The best thing about this cream is its versatility. You can use it to make ice cream, serve it in dessert cups with cookies, fresh fruit, pieces of sponge cake, or even with Oreo cookies. It pairs wonderfully with chocolate and with fruits like blackcurrants or red currants, which give it an amazing flavor. For example, you can fill a cake and use the leftovers to make 2 or 3 dessert cups as an extra treat. This time, I'm going to use it to decorate a small sheet cake, and with what's left over, I'll prepare some delicious ice cream with cookies and chunks of Kinder Bueno. They turn out spectacular. Here's the demonstration, as I always do in my tutorials. To decorate, I'm using 2 large piping tips, the 9 feet and the 353. I'm going to make several swirls and some decorative details so you can see the texture, firmness, and the beautiful color of this cream. You'll see how well it holds up and how beautiful it looks as decoration. I'd love for you to tell me in the comments how you've used it, if you liked the texture and flavor, and if it worked well for your desserts. I hope you give this recipe a try and enjoy it as much as I did making it. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming recipes I share with all my heart. To all my followers and channel members, thank you from the bottom of my heart for always being there, for commenting, sharing, and being part of this lovely growing community. See you very soon with a new recipe. A big kiss and a million thanks.